Samir, the restaurant business is a very challenging business. Good operators are lucky to see 10% margins. And TouchBistro has created a software solution initially as a POS to help automate some of the processes of restaurants, but you've expanded the business since you've taken over as CEO to be really a full operating system for restaurants. What are the elements of the solution?
I realized that we needed to move the product from being an on-premise POS to make it one of the most complete end-to-end restaurant management solution, but to be a cloud native. So right now I'm happy to tell you we completed that work. We're purely in the cloud right now. New customers are being boarded on the cloud with all of the practical parts that comes with the cloud. They're able to manage their locations across many locations with a high level of efficiency. Plus it created a level of consistency in the reporting and the menu management.
Right.
We're also expanded the product set. We moved beyond the POS. Over the last several years, we added a number of products: reservation, online ordering, loyalty, CRM tools, and payments processing. So we became really strong at the front of the house. But to have a complete restaurant management solution, we needed to add a lot more products in the back of the house. So now through partnerships and acquisition and building, we're becoming probably one of the most complete end-to-end restaurant management solution. That includes inventory management, profitability management, labor management.
Labor management, you just touched on briefly
Yes.
there. This is a huge issue for this industry. How are you getting restaurants in a position to keep labor costs under control?
As you know, attrition in labor is probably close to 28%. But what we're also doing, we're partnering with the best-in-class companies. We don't offer that ourselves, but we have partners that provide a complete 360 training for the new labor, supply of the labor, and predictability of the labor need when it comes to the revenue. While labor turnover is there, but we're also looking at programs with our partners to keep labor longer.
With all of the products you've got in the market now as components of the solution, you're collecting an enormous amount of data
Yes.
about the overall operation of a restaurant. What are some of the early benefits of all of the predictive analytics capabilities you've been able to bring to the restaurant market?
The data we're able to give to our customers right now, there's several levels of data. First one is the consumer data. We have probably one of the most complete omni-channel data that we can provide to our customers with respect to their consumers, irrespective of how they come to the restaurant, whether they order online, pick up at the curb, or order online for a delivery or come into the venues. We're able to track their purchases and their frequency and who they are and give that to the benefit of our customers. Also, we enable the customers with the ability to communicate effectively with these consumers to make them come back. That is really important data that customers in the past missed. So we're able now to link the data not just from the front of the house, but also with the back of the house to enable the customers to have really good predictability of their profitability, not just sales. Profitability is really important, as you mentioned. Labor is in shortage, but it's also rising in cost. And the food cost is also rising a lot.
Right.
So now we're able to provide customers with predictability of the food they will need to consume as part of their menus, and the cost it has and the profitability they will get from that.
Well, and that's a really interesting point because the entire industry is trying to deal with this issue of food waste and the enormous amount of food waste that's happening. So demand forecasting becomes a critical element of your solution.
100%. I always tell the product team, how do we enable customers? And we can do it right now. Enable a customer to look at the labor costs in comparison to the revenue, look at the inventory that needed to move so we can avoid spoilage. And in the past, customers used to look at it backwards, used to look at spreadsheet and realize that the labor cost was too high or they lost this level of inventory. It's really important to become much more predictive to that.
It gives them the opportunity to build the relationship with their customers, to be more present with their customers if you're taking over a lot of these back office functions for them.
100%. In fact, they opened the restaurants because of that. You know, they love to be on the floor with their guests, and let's take away the unfun part of running a restaurant away from them and make it easy for them.
What's the roadmap look like from here? Now that you've deployed this end-to-end restaurant operating solution and platform, where do you take it?
75% of our customers are full-service restaurants, one locations or multi-locations. Within that segment, which is SMB and sort of the smaller end of the mid-market, they don't get to play in the digital advertising space.
Okay.
A lot of their advertising is paper-based. We solve the formulas on managing their existing guests and communicating with them better. How do we get them to attract new guests? This is part of the advertising. The SMB and the mid-market, they don't get to play in. They don't have the know-how, and they don't have the technology to do it. They either rely on agencies if they could afford it, or they leave that to the bigger customers. And then finally, the data, we didn't talk about that part of data that would be coming. How do we leverage the data that we're using in the inventory and on the revenue to enable our suppliers, the suppliers of our customers, to have better predictability of when orders will be coming, so they can deliver it on time and more automatically.